A New York judge has appointed a special prosecutor for Tuesday's hit and run on the north side. Good evening, I'm Hakan Re. As you can see behind me, this wind turbine and solar panel powered this manufacturing facility at Harbeck, and they hope to be the future and inspire more manufacturing plants to power their own facilities off of renewable energy. For NCC News, I'm Hakan Re. The reason why the show is in the middle of the winter is it so people can buy their boats now and get them by the start of this summer. Part of the mechanics of change in the regulatory environment come from presidential executive orders, and a number of executive orders under President Obama can be repealed by President Trump. Hackers have a new tool to kill your computer. Hackers have discovered a more effective way to kill your computer than a software virus, and it's so simple, anyone can do it.
They call it Killer USB, and it can destroy an entire computer instantaneously by just plugging it in to a USB port on almost any computer. Killer USB shoots 200 volts of electricity through a computer's USB port multiple times per second. The market for killer USBs are criminals with malicious intent. Even servers and database centers are at risk of being destroyed, and it is easy for criminals with no knowledge of hacking to inflict harm.
You know, it's going to be someone trying to attack a small local group that the only thing they have is a computer or a database center. You know, oh, you're running for office. Oh, let us destroy your database. Boom.
Check this out. This is the killer USB flash drive. Plug one of these into a desktop like this, a laptop, or even your cell phone can kill it instantaneously. Now it comes with a tester that will show the sparks that come out of this USB flash drive if we plug it into a device.
Richard Yang is a student at Syracuse University, and he bought one of the killer USB flash drives.
You can essentially fry everyone's photos, music albums, everything that they possibly own online, and just fry it like this. So in a sense, yeah, it's like the digital gun of the 21st century.
Yang says he bought it for the sake of having it, but he says he has not tested it yet because he doesn't have anything to test it on.
If there was for some valid reason that I would need to go and wipe someone's computer, then I would have the potential to, but hopefully that doesn't happen.
Apple has updated the hardware in the newest MacBook Pro lineup to protect against devices like the killer USB. But Sierra, if you own a PC, you're going to be out of luck.
When the sun sets over Syracuse University on Friday nights, you can find a lot of students getting ready to party. But one gaming club is encouraging a different kind of social interaction that you might only find in an arcade during the 1980s. The president of the Gamers Club, Zach Tenenbaum, says the club purchased an Xbox 360, GameCube, and a handful of games.
It's filling the same roles as an arcade used to fill. Lots of people bring in their game systems, such as Xbox, Wii U, what else? Nintendo 64, GameCube. Some people even lug in an entire CRT to play Melee on using a GameCube. That's always funny to watch.
Dylan Magnus says he wants to find other friends to play games with rather than playing alone.
Now you'll see in all these movies where you'll have one guy playing on a Galaga machine, killing it, and people lining up quarters with "I got next" or whatever. And so that's what it very much is here. All we need is quarters, and we are literally just an arcade. We'll just put them on the machine, say, "We got next," and then you got a freaking row of people lining up. It's a really cool experience to, walk in and have everybody in the room be like, "Yo, you want to play this game? You want to play this game?" And you build a community.
Oswego has started using their $500,000 award from the state to reduce poverty this morning by educating professionals who work with people in poverty.
What our goal today is to allow our local stakeholders, community leaders, and some members of the general public to really experience what it's truly like to live in poverty.
The director of the event says reducing poverty is more than just giving someone a job.
Not everybody understands how challenging it can be when you don't have any money in your pocket but need to get to the employment office to look for work. but you don't have transportation to get there, and you have a baby at home.
Part of the simulation has participants visiting these tables that represent the local entities that someone in poverty might have to deal with, like the local pawn shop, the bus station, and these are to simulate what it would be like to live in poverty.
The poverty simulation gives professionals a taste of what it is like to live in poverty.
I think that it's important to stay connected to the sense of what it's like to work with people in poverty, because that's the majority of who we see come through our doors.
One professional wants to get a better idea of what poor people at her pantry go through.
I'm always recommending, they go to DSS or, here's a card, call the food bank for SNAP, and, but I've never gone through that process, so I was hoping that would help.
The organizers hope today's event will start to change the thinking about poverty from blaming poor people to supporting them. Reporting live in the studio, Connor Hakan, NCC News.
While you might think coloring books are only for kids, a new trend in Syracuse and across the country is now encouraging the adults to jump in on the fun.
I picked up Reader's Digest, and there was a big write-up about it, about coloring and what it does to you. It says, whatever your eyes are looking at and your fingers can color, it's good for the brain. I ripped out all those pages and I Xeroxed them and I sent them to all my girlfriends, because some of my girlfriends are very boring. Some of them did buy coloring books, but they said, no, we don't want to go into a group to do it. We'll just do it at home. Some of them were very steady about it, and they're still coloring at home. But I decided to come up here when I saw it in the paper that they were doing it here.
The Coloring Club started last year and meets every Wednesday at 10 a.m. at the Northern Onondaga Public Library.
I have an autistic daughter, and coloring was her thing, and I sort of started with her, and then I just started doing my own. Is everybody needs a calming or a thing to do to get them away from the everyday things that are going on in their lives. That was mine.
Amazon, Snapchat, Franken-Oat, Pinterest, and Think Geek were all born on the internet, but they are all part of a new business trend, and they call it clicks to bricks.
Think Geek is an online retailer, but they have opened up their own physical store at Destiny USA.
I think that it's a gamble, but a beautiful one. So you don't know whether or not it's going to be successful because you're already a successful online retailer. And thankfully, this is all the type of merchandise that is really cool and really fun, and there is a market for it both online and in a physical store.
Consumer spending is 70% of GDP, and one customer says they think it's way more fun to come into the physical store.
I come into the store on a regular basis whenever I come home because it's a great place to come in, talk to fellow nerds, geeks, however you want to describe us as a group, camaraderie. It's easy to come in and go, oh, so you like Star Wars, for example. We come in, we have a lightsaber battle. If we happen to have batteries for the sabers, just brief, nothing special.
Think Geek says there's a social experience connected to going to a physical store that is valuable to customers.
Part of this business trend is stores bringing in items that you would usually only be able to buy online. For example, this War Machine Iron Man statue, and it only costs $10,599.
There was a family that came in and their daughter was about 10, and she just completely, like, high-pitched squeal. She's a really big fan of Star Wars. You know, we have a Kylo Ren lightsaber that's just out for people to try and play with, and a voice-changing helmet. She was just the most excited person that I have ever seen.
Think Geek Store's manager says she hopes they hold new costume event parties at their location at Destiny USA. Reporting live in the studio, Connor Hakan, NCC News.
So So Connor, green milk, would you try it?
I think I will, as long as it's whole milk. If it's 2% milk, I don't want it.
All right, and that does it for NCC News at 4:45. I'm Abby Budiman.
And I'm Connor Haken. Have a great evening, Syracuse.